Hello everyone and welcome back to Winter 89 Colors. My name is Melissa and I am here to share the next part of our mini series. So today we are going to be doing this little alien spaceship here, and we are going to be doing it in Arrtx Pencils. That has been a highly requested one, so I'm going to do it next, and hopefully you will see this up right quick so you can have an idea. So I did think a little bit about this ahead of time because Arrtx and I don't always get along. Don't get me wrong, for some people they are a fantastic pencil. It's just for me, I sometimes struggle with them just a little bit. They don't always seem to like my personal techniques, and so I find on certain papers in particular, I struggle with them. But we're gonna give them a go. I haven't used them yet in this book, so we'll see how they get on. Alrighty guys, so let's zoom in and get started here. Good. Okay, so I picked out a few colors for this and I think that they will be good. So I'm gonna stick with the theme of doing the blue sky for consistency's sake, so that we're kind of getting the same picture using different mediums. So I'm going to start with indigo blue, just as I did with the last three. So it is Sunday morning. The noisiest of my roommates is away this weekend, so woot woot. I've been able to get quite a bit of filming done, which is awesome. My husband has been thoroughly enamored with his truck. He's got an old Chevy S10, for any of those of you among you who are familiar with American cars. And it's a bit of a lemon. It's a bit it needs a lot of work and a lot of love. It does run sometimes, but at the moment he's got it completely torn apart in order to do the interior. He's making his own dashboard. Sorry, I'm a little out of focus. He's making his own dashboard and center console. So it's pretty torn apart. We just put the seat back in it last night, more or less just so that he could get better, more accurate measurements of the center console and stuff like that. Anyways, you don't want to hear about that. But it's pretty cool that he's got something to tinker with that gets him out of the house and out of my hair so that I can do all this for you guys. So far, these pencils are working not bad on this paper. So that's good. That's good news, isn't it? I've been making a concerted effort to try and use the materials I have, which includes my less favored pencils and stuff. I only have 5 sets of pencils, which, I mean, I should count myself absolutely lucky to have at all, because I have the top 3 Prismas, Albrecht Dürer, and Polychromos. It took me a year to build all those up. The Polys and the Albrecht Dürers I bought open stock bit by bit until I was able to complete the collection. So that was no small feat. The Arrtx's I've had for some time, but again, I don't really get along with them. I don't know why, but I haven't had as much luck with them as I have with other pencils. I also have a 72 set of Colors. Which I bought genuinely just because they were super cheap and I wanted something for when I was still working. I could have at work for my break time to color with at work. Okay, so next one I'm gonna use Prussian blue. These blues aren't as deep. These are the deepest blues I could find in the set, and they're not as deep as the previous two blues that we used in the last two little color alongs. A little disappointing in that sense, but it is what it is. I see a lot of people out there struggling with Prismas too. When they're not used to them, get them for the first time, and they have a lot of questions about how they work. I was thinking about doing a Prismas for Beginners guide, or video at the very least. I've been using Prismas for a couple of years now, and I feel fairly confident with them. So again, with these blues, I'm overlapping them and then reducing my pressure as I get closer to the center of the vignette to create that glowing effect. Let me know down in the comments too, do you have like an art supply? An art supply that when you first started using it, you really didn't like it, but then over time it grew on you. For me, I think that's inks, like distressed inks and stuff. First couple of times I used them, I could not for the life of me understand how people use this junk. You know, like I really struggled with it. I couldn't get it to do what I wanted at all. But now I started trying it again more recently, and it's been a lot easier. So I don't know if it's something to do with experience or having watched other people do it enough times or just my confidence levels. I don't know, but I just found that I'd be willing to give them another go, you know? Doing a pencil background takes a lot of patience, guys. So easy to do the background with something else, anything else realistically. Paint, soft pastel, water, you know, like watercolor pencils even, because, you know, you can make a big mess and then easily clean it up using water. But doing it in pencil, you've got to take your time and get those layers right. Maybe that's what it is about Arrtx pencils that I struggle with, is that it's kind of like you have to use a technique that's somewhere between layering and smooshing. You know, with Prismas you smush, right? That's the easiest way to work with them. With polychromos you layer. That's the easiest way to work with them. But with Arrtx, it's kind of somewhere in the middle of that. I don't know. Okay, I was gonna use Delft blue as my next color, but I want it to glow more, so I'm gonna use something lighter. I'm gonna use pastel blue to finish off. See, and this is where I have a hard time doing doing color alongs a lot of the time, is because like I'm constantly bouncing around and experimenting. I have a hard time going in with a solid plan because the plan changes so easily, so quickly. But I guess it would be good for you guys to see how my brain works as we're going, right? It's so hard for me to picture the final product. Like I can have a rough idea in my head, you know? But ultimately, until you start laying the color down on paper, it's really hard to see what direction you're going to end up going in. Okay, so there's my background. Because we didn't use it, I'm going to put Delft Blue away. Okay, so next up is our little spaceship I'm going to gather. So I pulled out 50% warm gray to start us off. So just like with the vignette, I'm going to follow the pattern of the vignette. So darker on the outside, lighter on the inside. Okay. And then I've got 20% warm gray. I don't know if this is going to be too dark because I want like a pretty hefty contrast. So if this ends up being too dark, I will move over and just use a white. Nope, this is okay. Okay. So I'm just burnishing right out over top. So that's that. Looking pretty good. So I'm going to make this stripe green. So I've got spring green here. Sorry if you can hear some noise in the background. My rabbit is angry for some reason, so she's chewing on things loudly. And then I've got lemon yellow. And I'm going to use those same colors for the entrance of the tractor beam. And then just the spring green for this. I'll probably go over that with some glitter or something. Okay, so next is the actual beams of the tractor beam. So I'm going to start with chartreuse. Again, we're starting heavy at the top and lighter as we go down. And then I'm going to use lemon yellow. And just a little bit at the top of the center beam here because I want the center beam to be the brightest. So lemon yellow I'll use at the bottom of these outer ones. And then I brought in the big guns, fluorescent yellow. Not often you get an excuse to use your fluorescents, so when you do, ladies and gentlemen, I recommend you roll with it. There we go. Okay, so next is the little planets. And I brought out a couple, or not planets, I think they're comets. So I've got burnt umber and light umber. Good. Again, same thing, darkness on the outer edges to create that rounded effect. And then I'll use the light umber to burnish out. Okay, and then I'm going to use the light umber again. Just a little bit to create some shading in the crevices or the craters or whatever. Okay. And the rest is mostly going to be embellishment. So I'm going to pull out my trusty handy dandy oh-hoo-hoo acrylic markers. Shaky, shaky, shaky. And the first one that I'm pulling out is, of course, my fluorescent yellow. So I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'm gonna go over it again. I find the fluorescents need a little bit of extra layering because they can be a little on the thin side, so that's okay. We'll give them some room to grow there. And now I want to find my I think this is it. My gold. Okay. Embellishments are literally my favorite part of coloring. Okay, so let's go over those fluorescents again. Right, and then I'm going to use some Jelly Roll Stardust. I don't know why, just because I wanted to add sparkle somewhere, I guess. There. And I think we can call that done, don't you? And there we have it, our little spaceship. I might later put another layer of the fluorescent down on the tractor beam there. But otherwise, this little spaceship is done, and that was with Arrtx Pencils. So thank you very much for joining me, everybody. I'm so glad that you were here with me today. I hope I will see you in the next one, which will be one of these other little vignettes here. We've got 3 left to go. I hope to see you in the next one. Enjoy your coloring day. Bye-bye.